There we go. Matthew 11, chapter 1 through 10. After Jesus had finished instructing his 12 disciples, he went on from there and to teach and preach in the towns of Galilee. When John, who was in prison, listen to this, when John, who was in prison, heard about the deeds of the Messiah, he sent his disciples to ask him, "Are you the one who is to come? Or should we expect someone else?" That's the sermonic text for this morning. Are you the one who is to come? Or should we expect somebody else? See, John was a little confused. John was a little discouraged. John had an expectation, and what he was expecting wasn't happening the way that he thought it would go. John was in prison, and he got a little nervous. John was in prison, and he got a little confused. John was in prison, and it wasn't going the way that he thought. Has anybody been in a situation where you thought what God had said, and it doesn't go the way you think what God had said? You may feel like you're in a prison right now when you was told you should be in the palace. You're in a pit right now, and dirt's trying to come upon you and overtake you. And you thought that your place of a pit should have been a place where you could see, where you could be free. That's where John was. And Jesus replied. See, it's so good to know what Jesus got to say. Because he ain't going to take you out of the prison. He may not take you out of the pit right now. He may not take you in a place where you feel comfortable. You may be in an uncomfortable place. Oh, but what did Jesus say? Give me a praise break for a minute. Because I feel this is where, in the midst of a pit, in the midst of uncomfortability, in the midst where you feel like you don't know if you're going to make it, in the midst where you feel like, God, are you with me? When you feel like everybody's left you, where you feel like you don't know what to do, where you feel like you don't know what to go, you're at wit's end, you're ready to throw in the towel, you're ready to say quit, you've trusted God long enough, you've gone through a process, and you just don't know where it's going to end. When John had his disciples go to Jesus, because he needed to know, somebody right now, you need to know, Jesus, where are you? I've prayed and I've prayed. I've prayed all night long, and I still don't hear you. God, I need a way out, but the more out I'm trying to get, the more I feel stuck. The more I'm trying to get through, the more it seems like I'm in. When it seems like I can't, the more I can. The more they tell me I can't, the more I'm believing I won't. The more it seems like I won't, it seems like I can't. Who am I talking to today? Because somebody, you're waiting to hear Jesus, and sometimes what Jesus says, it don't line up with where you are. But what did Jesus say? You need to know right now. Jesus said, go back and report to John what you hear and what you see. I'm here to tell you this morning that somebody's about to come back to tell you what Jesus said and what they saw. So don't you get twisted where you are right now. I'm here to tell you, I'm coming back from hearing from God. And he told me to tell you what I see and what I heard in my prayer closet. Get ready. Get ready. Because you might feel like you're in a pit. You might feel like you're in a prison. You might feel stuck. But I'm here to report what I hear and what I see. So give them a praise. Woo! I'm seeing the heart. I'm seeing the light. And I ain't even got to the message yet. But I want to tell somebody, I'm here to tell you, I see something. I hear something. And you're about to go into a new season. So give them a praise. Woo! Yeah. Woo! I see and I hear. I hear and I see. What do I see? I see the blind receiving their sight. I see, my God, the dead are being raised. I see what God says over your life. Give him a praise. Woo. All right, I gotta move on. Woo. Xavier. So Jesus replied, go back and report to you what I heard and what I see. The blind receive sight. The lame walk. Those who have been with leprosy are cleansed. The deaf can hear. The dead are raised. And the good news has come to proclaim to the poor. Blessed is anyone who does not stumble on account of me. My God, that's what I'm sensing in the spirit. That you're all about to be used to speak to that one that's poor. Used to speak to that one that's blind. Used to that one that seems like there's dead things all around their situation. But you're about to speak to that dead thing in someone's life. Somebody that's in poverty. Somebody that's dealing with unemployment. Somebody that's been laid off. Somebody that seems like there's no hope. Somebody that seems like they can't make it. God is reporting and letting me know as a reporter, I'm here to let you know what I see and what I hear. What I see and what I hear. I'm reporting it back to you because you may feel like you're in a situation of no hope. You may feel like there's no return. You may be in a place where you feel like you're in a pit. But I'm here to report and to tell you that Jesus is reporting back. And he's letting you know the season where you are right now, whoo, is setting you up for where the season for where you're going. What am I saying? Seasons, the definition of a season literally means a point in place in time. And where John was, he was at a point in place in time where he could not understand the season that he was in. He was in a place, he was in a point in time, in a season of his life where he kind of got confused. The season wasn't making sense. The season that he wasn't in didn't add up to where he thought he should be at. And so he was in a season where he misunderstood, he misrepresented, he had all these different thoughts and opinions and feelings and a mood. He was in a place where the season wasn't comfortable. He was in a place where the season that he thought he should be in, he could not understand. And so he sent his disciples and he said to his disciples, ask Jesus. We need some understanding because the season, this period of time in my life where I think I should be somewhere else, it's not the season of where I am. And so Jesus came and Jesus spoke a season. What Jesus said was a season, a time, a place. And he said to his disciples, go back and tell John, here is a new season. I want to talk to somebody today because it's a new season. And where you are right now, that season, you may not understand it, but it had to take that season of being in a prison, of being misunderstood, of not understanding what God is doing, for God to now speak into a new season. Ecclesiastes 3 verses 1 through 11 says it like this: there is a time for everything. See, there is a time for everything. Even where you are right now, that is your time. It's a time for everything. Don't ever disqualify even the craziness, the messiness, the stuff that doesn't add up, the things that doesn't seem like it should be a part of your story. Listen, that is a time. It's a point in time for it. For there is a season for every activity under the sun, as Ephesians 3:1 says, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to tear down and a time to build, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to scatter stones and a time to gather them, a time to embrace and a time to refrain. There is a time for everything, a time to search and a time to give up, a time to keep and a time to throw away, a time to tear down and a time to mend, a time to be silent and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time to war and a time for peace, a time where work is gained from their toil. I've seen everything under the sun. The burden God has laid on the human race, for he has made everything beautiful in its time. And so you need to know in Ephesians 3:1 through 11, there is a time for everything. In other words, everything has a season. And I'm here to encourage you over these next couple of minutes that I have with you, that you need to understand the seasons. For every season has a reason. Let me say it again. For every season has a reason. And so the Lord wants me to debunk this, because some of you all are living in seasons and you don't understand, because you said, oh, PC said this and PC said that, or you've taken what God is saying and you're trying to move on from broken relationships, trying to move on from poverty, trying to move on from certain systemic things that have been known over your life, trying to move on from certain things that seem to be weighting you down and holding you down. Some things that you feel like you're in a pit and can't get out. Some things that you feel like you're in prison and no doors are being opened. I need for you to understand that when you understand the season that you are in, then you'll be able to better understand and be equipped to knowing how to handle those seasons that are going to come into your life, and that you'll be able to understand what season you're in. See, I believe that the more you understand about things that God is doing, more that you understand what God is saying, what God is doing, the better you are in your situation. John was better equipped to know what Jesus had said, so that he could better understand how to handle that season of being in prison in his life. And when Jesus said to his disciples, go tell John, this is the season we're in, then John was better able to know how to handle, how to be in prison. He never got out, but he knew how to handle being in something, because he understood the season of the thing. What am I saying to somebody? Put it in hashtag. When you know your season, then you're able to handle the season until that season is over. Oh my God, when you know the season you're in, you're able to handle the season. You're able to know how to deal with the season. You know how to deal with the stuff that'll be in that season until that season is over. Let me say it this way. To every season, there will be a change. Oh, you know it. You already know it. because we live it. God has gave us a physical understanding of it. We have 4 seasons in our world, in our earth. You have the season of fall. You have the season of winter. You have the season of spring. You have the season of summer. Now, I already gave you the definition. Let me say it again. For the definition for seasons literally means 4 divisions. To every season, there is 4 divisions. And I just stated, you have a winter, you have a spring, you have a summer, you have a fall. There are 4 divisions, 4 times, 4 things that indicate seasons. And they're marked by particular weather patterns or daylight hours, if we could say it, resulting in a changing of a position with regard to something that's affecting it. Now, what affects us, Lisa, so glad to see you this morning. What affects those seasons is the sun. I just got a revelation. What affects your seasons is the sun. Now, that's the S-U-N, but I want to talk about what affects your seasons in life is the S-O-N. Jesus himself, God himself affects your seasons. Everybody will go through some seasons in life. Now, let me break it down. Seasons in life looks like this. You will have a season that is called the winter. In the season of winter, and I'm going to break it down over the next couple of weeks, so you want to join in. You want to tell somebody. You want to tell people about, because I'm going to break all this down so that you can understand and stop getting upset and stop getting nervous and stop getting confused and stop blaming folks and stop saying the devil and stop all of these excuses. We're going to put all that aside, because once you understand seasons in your life, and the seasons that you may be in, you may start praising God in those seasons versus complaining and versus giving up and versus throwing in the towel. You'll understand that this season is only going to get me to the next season. Some of y'all are staying stuck in seasons because you don't know how to handle that season. Season of winter is this. Seasons is times where there's sadness, heartbreak, loneliness, sickness. Oh, that's a season. Maybe you've gone through some of that. Maybe you're in that right now. Maybe you may have to go through. But understand that God will allow, because there's a time for everything. We just read it in Ecclesiastes. Everything, there's a time for everything. In time, there are seasons. So there's going to be a season, a time where you will be in the season of winter, a season where there will be times of loneliness. Oh, I've been there. A season where you're going to feel the loss of a loved one. God knows I've been there. A season where relationships are going to be broken. Better get ready for it. That's a season. There's going to be seasons of hurt, seasons of pain. That's a season. If I could say, it's called the season of winter. Understand, we all got to go through it. Stop trying to pray through it. You got to go through it, baby. There's a season. After the winter, there's a season of what? Spring. Actually, I should have started with this one, because the season of spring really is a season of hope, a season of new beginnings, a season where there's opportunities, a season where there is change. Y'all mothers know it. The season when you're in that is when you give forth to a newborn. Oh my God, the joy. Oh my God, the blessing. Oh my God, the favor. Oh my God, the things that was just the worst is now just blessings. Just think about it. Right before you had the child, you was going through a near-death experience. But the Bible says, for the joy of a child coming, you forget all about the birth pains. Come on, y'all. I ain't never been there, so y'all can testify. You forget about it when you see the joy of a child, your newborn, coming in. It's called the season of spring. Come on, y'all. Somebody right now, you may be in a season of blessing, season of opportunity, seasons of where you've been stuck in poverty, but God is blessing you with more than enough. A season of abundance, a season where you couldn't lose weight for nothing, but now that depression is gone and oppression is gone and suicide is gone. You are in a season of spring. My God, somebody needs to praise God right now, because we prayed you through the season of winter. Who am I talking to? I need some comments this morning. We prayed you through some seasons where there was dark places. Somebody was on their deathbed, but now you're in a season, come on y'all, of your spring. Could I say, you don't be quiet when God brings you in this season. You testify, you tell your story, you speak of God's blessing, you take off those old garments of heaviness and put on that spirit of praise. You begin to let people know, I'm in a new season. Don't keep me bound of where I was, because good God, I'm in a new place. I have a new mind. I have a new attitude. I have a new way of doing. I'm blessed and highly favored. When you're in that season, you tell the world, you let the enemy know. You thank God. My God, what John didn't know is that he was in a new season, that everything he had prepared for and that he was going to and that he was working for, he was in a new place, and he misaligned, he misunderstood what season he was in. But Jesus had to remind him. I need to remind some of you all that even if you're in winter, even if you're whatever season you're in, you got to remember what Jesus has said and done. He said, go back and tell them what you see and what you saw. My God, what you heard. And so I want to tell somebody right now, you're out of your winter. Don't stay there no longer. Begin to testify. Begin to wash your face. Begin to put a smile on, for you're in a new season. It's called the season of spring in your life. And as you're going through that season, there's going to be a season called summer, where personally, it's season of summer. If y'all write it down, take your notes. It's a season of growth. It's a season where God's protection is over you. A season of abundance. A season where you're no longer allowing distractions to no longer keep you bound. See, John was in a season. He thought he was in winter, but he didn't realize he was in a season of summer. Even in the place that he was at physically, my God, you could be in another season spiritually. Who am I talking to? John was in a prison, but when Jesus told his disciples to go back and tell John what he seen and what he saw, what he heard, my God, that place that was a prison turned into a place of a season of summer, because the very thing that John was prophesying of what God was doing, of what God had given him the passion to do, when he heard what Jesus was doing, the season changed, because he understood it was a season of, this was the season of abundance, a season where the latter became the former and where the former became the latter. It was a season where everything that John was doing was coming to pass. The blind was seeing. My God, the dead was being raised. The blind was seeing sight. The lame was beginning to walk. And so let me help somebody. It does not matter where you are physically, where you are spiritually, in the seasons that God has you in. It don't matter where you are. Seasons will change right where you are. Somebody tag hashtag seasons will change right where you are. You don't gotta go nowhere. You don't gotta please nobody. You don't gotta jump over hoops. Where you are, God will change your season. And when he changes your season, wherever you are has to change with it. Your prison will turn into a palace. Your pit will turn into its building dirt, where now you're in a place where you can see. My God, where you are is not an indication of your season. Who am I talking to this morning? And so we're going to jump and we're going to get deep into this, because you need to know, you need to understand the seasons that are going on in your life. Whew. So let me start. There's a story that somebody used. So let me start. Actually, let me throw up a quote right quick, because I've done my homework this morning. let me speak to you what seasons look like. For we understand that if you stay stuck in the past season or fixated on the future season, you will miss the one you're in. Maki D said it that way. I want to talk to somebody because we're about to get from a season of unstuckness. Pastor Tamika said it well. I'm going to jump in and talk about there are some seasons right now. It's been winter too long in your life. It's time for you to get into a new season, a new day, a new anointing. The way you've been thinking, the way you've been doing, the way you've been acting, the way you've been behaving. When folks come and they know how to push that button, it's time for you to change. It's time for you to get in a new season. You've been reacting to the outside stimulus versus responding. Oh my God, I just heard it. See, the Roman Empire came at John. They didn't like what John had to say. They didn't like what John was doing. Matter of fact, it was somebody that said, I want John's head. So they took him out of their own. And here it is. John was put in a situation because of somebody else. And John could have reacted. He could have went against everything that he had heard and what God had said and what he had believed. But what John did, instead of react, he responded and said, please go to Jesus. I need to know what's being said in this season so that I won't react and miss my blessing. That's why Jesus said, go back and tell, so that John could respond the right way. I want to talk to somebody that you don't stay stuck. Because if you don't respond the right way in this season, seeing it the way God sees it, giving God praise even in the midst of hopelessness, giving God thanks even in the midst of despair, looking what God says versus what people are saying, versus what your employer, versus what COVID, versus what sickness, versus what the doctor, all of these distractions. If you stay on what he says, you'll get out of that season. I want to talk to somebody, and that's what that quote said. And another quote said it this way. Oh my God, said every season is one of becoming, but not always one of blooming. So be gracious with your ever evolving self. Be gracious with your ever evolving self, Oakman said. Let me say it like this. In your season, you're becoming. Don't try to rush the season, but try to work with the season. If opposition's coming your way, turn that opposition into opportunity. If there are trials and tests your way, turn that into, guess what? Every test, when a teacher gives a test, it gets quiet. When there's times in your life where you feel like God is quiet, understand that he's giving you everything you need at that moment to be able to take that test and pass. A teacher never gives you a test for you to fail. That would be a horrible teacher. But you need to understand that in a season where there's silence and you seem like you're going alone and seems like everybody's no encouragement, nobody's supporting them, understand that that may be a season that God is showing you. Depend on him, trust in him, trust in what the teacher's giving you all that you need so that when you come out of that season, you come out passing the test. My goodness, there's a story that is told. Listen to this and I'll be closing. A king had 4 sons. To teach them an important lesson, he decided to ask them to visit a cherry tree in the deep forest of their kingdom. During the winter season, he asked his eldest son to go and see the tree and write a description of the tree. That prince came back and told that the tree is barren. Listen to how he describes the tree in this season. The tree is barren. It is old. It's hopeless. Not even birds are coming near the tree. It looks useless. And maybe it is better if we cut it down and use the wood before it rots. Point number one, not now, but point number one, I didn't put it on the screen, it just came to me. Point number one, never listen to somebody's opinion of your season. Never judge your season in time of winter, because you may cut something off that really might bear forth fruit later. Good God, I'm preaching this today. Stop disqualifying yourself because you're in a season where you can't bear fruit. Stop looking at that season as if you can't, if God won't, stop it. Begin to judge, begin to analyze, begin to look at what season you're in before you start cutting some things off that may not need to be cut off. Stop cutting people off. Stop cutting opportunities. Stop cutting and judging and trying to analyze something that might really not be ready for its time to bless you yet. Some of you kids, some of y'all teenagers in them, stop trying to get out your mother's house and father's house so quick because you don't like their rules. Maybe it's your season of winter right now, so that you'll appreciate your next season. Maybe you're in your season of lack right now, so that you'll know how to appreciate when your next season of bounty comes. Who am I talking to? Know how to appreciate the season of hardness, how to endure it, how to have patience in it, how to be able to be equipped in it. Because if you know how to make $1 out of 15 cents in the season of winter, my God, then what can you do when you're in another season of blessing? Let me move on. For the season of spring said it this way. The king asked the second son to visit the tree and to write a description of the tree. Let me stop right there. How are you writing your tree this morning? What's the description of your tree of life? I already talked to you about your book and the chapters and all of that, and I told you it is written. What is written over your season right now? So he asked the prince to go in this season of spring, and the prince came back and told his father, the tree is not barren, rather it is full of beautiful cherries, blossoms, they look young and they look promising. The tree is surrounded by butterflies and bees who are enjoying its flowers. My God. So just in a season right before, it was barren. They should have cut it off. But now this second prince, different perspective, different understanding, saw the very thing that somebody said, cut it off. It's barren. It's not worth anything. It has no value. It has no importance. It looks rotten. Take that rotten and just put it in the fire. Let it be burned. Here, a different perspective where this prince said, look at the blossoms. It ain't becoming yet, but it has some potential. It has some opportunity. Could I say to somebody, don't rush the season. It hasn't come to full maturity yet. Stop trying to be something that you're not yet. Stop trying to be baked when you're only half baked. I want to talk to some prophets today and some preachers today and folks who are jumping on and got a word for everybody. Some coaches that are trying to coach and you don't even have half the coaching. Don't go in half baked. This might be your season where God is teaching you. Stay humble. Go through the process. It ain't time for you to write your book yet. It ain't time for you to have followers yet. It ain't time for you to try to get all of how many people. And it ain't. God's just trying to show you, I'm blossoming you. I'm getting you ready. I'm preparing you for the game. Right now, you may be in this season. It's called where you're sitting on the sidelines. You're watching others play. And the coach hasn't put you in yet. But just because he ain't put you in yet, don't mean you ain't qualified. You're just in a season of getting prepared, a season of getting you ready. Just like John, he was in a season to prepare people. He wasn't the one, but he was one to get folks ready. Maybe right now you're in a season where it ain't for you to put your business card out yet, for you to get your little, all these things. You're still in a baking season. Allow yourself to get baked, to get a little bit more brown, for you to get a little bit more full. That literally means for you to get in God's presence, stay in his presence. Start to hear what he has to say. Don't just jump on one word, because one word ain't going to keep you. You got to be saturated. You got to let it, marinate. You got to let it, If my wife would say it, she'll tell you all the baking terms and cooking terms. But y'all know, take a moment. You're in your season of spring. You're in your season of becoming. Could I say to somebody, stop allowing people to put you in a place you're not yet. Just say, I'm in my becoming stages. I'm getting there. I ain't ready yet. I know I still got some shedding to do. God has put me in some situations, and when I thought I was ready, my God, when they challenged me, when they checked, I said, be okay with your becoming stages. Be okay with it, but don't stay stuck there. Don't allow excuses to keep you there. For when you get from that season of spring, you then go into your season of summer. What does the season of summer look like? Well, this is what for some it'll look like. For the king, had his son, the next son go to the tree. And when the prince returned, he said it this way. Nothing's blossoming. Rather, the tree is loaded with delicious cherries. It's matured. It's valuable. Many birds are living on the tree, and they are enjoying the fruit. Let me say to somebody, I believe over these next several months, wherever you are, this is where God is getting us. There's getting ready to be a season in our world, in our country, where there's going to be famine, there's going to be lack, there's going to be despair, there's going to be folks losing employment, there's going to be issues around housing, it's going to be dismal. I'm already prophesying, but I'm prophesying right now that God is getting us to an understanding that when whatever's getting ready to go on, we're not going to be struck by that, but we're going to understand the seasons we're in, and we're going to learn how to operate and how to flow, when to draw back, when to save, when to give, when to season, when to hold back, so you need to be starting to save your money. Stop spending it. You got to be wise in your investments. You got to, let me challenge somebody, because many of you all are watching and you're getting fed, but you're not sowing your seed. I'm going to challenge you. If you have not sown a seed, you begin to sow it. Because as you sow, then you'll be able to reap in latter. You'll be able to reap in latter. Oh, I know somebody saying, I ain't giving to a preacher. I ain't giving to a church. I could care less about all that. I'm talking about principles. I don't need your money. God is sustaining me. God is blessing me. God is using me. Matter of fact, I do this out of love. But I need to see that if you love this much, that you're able to sacrifice and you're giving. Because all of this equipment that's going around, it does cost. And guess what? As people are blessing this ministry, we're sowing into it for us to be able to come to you with quality. I want to see your household blessed. I want to see your children blessed. I want to see your fourth generations blessed. And so if you don't know anything about it, call us. We'll tell you about it. But begin to be obedient in your seed. But as the seed in winter has been, see, in seasons you sow. In winter, in the fall, you sow. And so that when the spring comes and the summer comes, there is a harvest coming forth. That season of summer comes because you have sown in tears. You have sown financially. You've sown in relationships. You've sown in holding your peace. You've sown in your faith. You've sown in see, you got to sow things for those seasons to come. And I'm going to teach more on it as time comes. And so that's the season of summer. Some of you all are in it right now. I'm in my season of summer, of obedience, of blessings. I just see God's fruit all around me. When I come on every Sunday and see folks are watching from all over, my God, the season of summer is upon us. Life change. You need to thank God for it. Let me go because I got to wrap this up. As we are in the last months of this year, October, November, December. We're in a new season. We're in the fall season. And I've already, did I talk about the fall? Did I say the fall? Maybe I didn't. Okay, let me, the youngest son visited spring, went back, description, should have probably did this first. The prince replied, described how there was no fruit, no flowers, as the brothers described. This is a time where you may see no fruit. You don't see nothing happening. You know why? Because to every season you have to harvest. You have to sow into relationships to get something out of it. You got to sow into yourself to get the best of you out of it. You got to sow into prayer to see prayers answered. You got to sow into giving to see things come, bounty to come. See, it's a season, y'all. You got to give sometimes more than before you see it coming back. Stop getting mad because you're giving so much out and you don't see nothing in return. That's a season. God will bless you back. Stop getting upset because you're sowing in your children. And you may not see that seed till years down the line. But if you understand the season, you'll sow it because you know that where you're going, you're sowing for where you're going. My God, there's so much to this, but I got to close. Come on back next week. But let me close with these points. And then we'll close. Number one, be prepared for seasons of change. Like the tree, we experience different seasons of life, and it will greatly affect us. Number two, don't judge your life's purpose by your seasons. Let me help you with that one. Maybe another screen will come up in a second. Don't judge your life's purpose by your seasons. For a quote says it this way: each day by the harvest you reap, but by the seeds that you plant. See, many of us are judging our life's purpose by the day-to-day. But when you understand that you are reaping, that you are sowing so that you'll see your life's purpose, it'll all unfold. Thank you, Robert Stevenson, for that. So stop judging your purpose by what you got to sow day to day. It will bring forth, it will harvest. Number three, every season has a purpose. So I know right now you're looking my purpose in life. What am I called? What am I? But could I say, stop allowing your seasons to be the hiccups, to be the challenge, to keep you stuck on fulfilling the totality of the purpose. Every life has to go through seasons. Every season is going to eventually show your purpose. So embrace your seasons. Understand your seasons. Enjoy the season. For the season is only a moment. If you don't go through that season of winter, you'll never appreciate spring. If you don't go through the season of spring, you'll never reap the harvest of a summer. If you never go through the season of fall, of sowing where you don't see anything, then you'll never understand where you're going. Every season has a purpose. What purpose? What season are you in that's serving your purpose? Lastly, seasons will never stay the same, but it will always come back again. No matter whatever the current season is, it will change. My God, have you gotten something today? I know I have. So let me encourage you. Come on back next week, for it's getting ready to be a new season in your day. Tell somebody, text somebody, YouTube somebody. Y'all ready for this next season? Hey, PC here. Thanks for watching this video. Here's another video, and make sure you subscribe, like, and comment down below. Give on Givelify. Type in Life Change Christian Church. Also, tune in Facebook at Life Change Providence. We'll see you there.